Stays, are you ready? Because history has just been rewritten right before our eyes. Stray Kids did it again. No, this is not just a regular comeback. This is total global domination. At a time when everyone thought they had already reached their peak, Bang Chan and the boys kicked down the doors of the global music industry even harder. Imagine, in the middle of a fiercely competitive 2025 filled with monster releases, one name rose to the surface and made the most prestigious business magazine in the world, Forbes, stop and acknowledge their genius. Yes, you heard that right. The album Karma has been officially named the most acclaimed male K-pop album of 2025. Can you feel it? The vibration on social media, the heated debates on forums, and the non-stop trending topics? This is not just about sales numbers, Stay. This is about recognition, about art, and about how Stray Kids proved that Stray Kids everywhere, all around the world, is not just a slogan, but a reality for the haters. Don't blink yet, because in this pembahasan, we're going to break down exactly why Karma left global music critics speechless, the secrets behind Three Racha's insane production, and the massive reactions from both Korean and international netizens. Is this the best era of Stray Kids, or is this just the beginning of a dynasty they are building? Grab your snacks, turn up the volume, and let's dive into the vortex of Karma. But before that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications because you do not want to miss the hottest K-pop news on the planet. Let's talk facts. Forbes just released an in-depth review stating that Karma is not just a K-pop album, but a sonic masterpiece that transcends genres. They called Stray Kids the architects of noise music, who successfully turned noise into a very expensive harmony. Very expensive, Stay. The way Forbes wrote this time gave them immense respect. They highlighted how every track on this album has its own soul, from the explosive title track to the B-sides that will have you crying in the corner of your room at 2 a.m. Critics at Forbes stated that Karma shows a level of musical maturity rarely found in groups of the current generation. Why is this a big deal? Because Forbes is usually very stingy with high praise for male K-pop albums unless they are truly revolutionary. With Karma, Stray Kids proved they are no longer just idols, but true producers, composers, and artists. Three Racha, Bang Chan, Changbin, and Han really showed that main producer energy that has no rival. Netizens on X exploded immediately. The hashtags Karma Most Acclaimed and Stray Kids Forbes ruled the worldwide trends within minutes. Many fans said that this is the reward for all their hard work and sweat over the years. And honestly, we all agree, right? Seeing how they started from nothing, were criticized for their music being too loud, and now recognized by a financial and cultural authority as big as Forbes, it is poetic justice. That is called Karma. Now, let's move to the next pembahasan and dissect why this album is so beloved. Karma takes us on a wild emotional journey. The title track is an anthem with chest-bumping bass and a hook that will stay stuck in your head for days. Singmin's increasingly smooth vocals and the main vocal vibes from IN really provide a new dimension. But wait, let's talk about the rap line. Changbin and Han are not human. They are machines. Their rap speed on this album reaches a new level, but with clear articulation and sharp messages. And Felix? His deep voice on the Karma tracks literally gives you goosebumps. Forbes even called Felix's voice the most unique instrument in modern music. Don't forget the dance line. Lee No and Hyunjin really brought their performance to a theatrical level. Every move is an expression of the lyrics. Many netizens commented that watching a Karma performance is like watching a very intense and dark K-pop version of a Broadway show. The B-side songs on this album are no joke either. There are very personal tracks where the members talk about doubt, failure, and finally victory. This is what makes this album acclaimed. It is not just because of the grand production, but because of the honesty behind the lyrics. They are not afraid to be vulnerable, and that is what makes fans feel deeply connected. Do you have a favorite song on this album? Tell me in the comments now. I want to see if we have the same taste. The impact is insane. The sales for this album in the first week have already broken their own records. On Spotify, their songs are dominating global charts. But what is most interesting is how Karma was received in South Korea itself. We know that sometimes groups with strong concepts like Stray Kids take time to really click with the domestic public. But this time, even the usually critical K-nets are giving 2 thumbs up. On forums like Pawn and The Coup, many commented that they didn't like their music at first, but Karma completely changed their perspective. Others said their visuals in this era are incredible, and that Hyunjin has truly reached his peak as a visual king. It's not just in Korea. In America and Europe, music critics from Billboard to Genius Korea gave almost perfect scores. They praised how Stray Kids stayed true to their self-producing roots at a time when the industry is increasingly filled with songs made by AI or massive external production teams. Stray Kids stayed Stray Kids. They are the ones in control. They define the direction, and the world simply follows. The trends on TikTok are just as exciting. The challenge for their lead single went viral, even involving many non-K-pop celebrities. This proves that their music has broken through the fan community barriers and entered the mainstream of global pop culture. Who would have thought that a group once considered underrated or too loud is now the gold standard for male K-pop albums? So, in this final pembahasan, what is next for these new kings? After being named the most acclaimed of 2025 by Forbes, the pressure is certainly getting bigger. But if there's one thing we have learned from the history of Stray Kids, it is that they thrive under pressure. The bigger the challenge, the crazier innovation they create. Will we see an even massive world tour, or maybe a collaboration with a legendary Western musician? Whatever it is, one thing is for sure. Stray Kids have secured their spot in the K-pop Hall of Fame. Karma is not just an album, it is a declaration of war that they are here to lead, not to follow. Stay, I want to ask you, which part of the Karma album made you the most emotional? And what are your predictions for the year-end awards? Do you think they will do a day song sweep? Let's discuss it in the comments section. I will be reading and hearting the most interesting comments. Don't forget to like this video if you are a proud Stay, and share it with all your friends so they know who the real ruler of 2025 is. Make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you do not want to miss the hottest K-pop news on the planet. Thank you for watching. Keep supporting your bias, stay healthy, and see you in the next discussion. Bye! Beyond the critical acclaim and the massive charts, we need to dive deeper into the cultural shift that Karma has sparked within the industry. This leads us to a very interesting pembahasan regarding the evolution of the Stray Kids' identity. For years, the group was pigeonholed into the noise music subgenre, a label that was often used by detractors to dismiss their complex layers of sound. However, with the release of Karma, that narrative has been completely flipped on its head. Forbes didn't just praise the music, they praised the defiance. This album represents a group that refused to change their colors to fit the mold of a traditional idol group, and instead, they waited for the world's ears to catch up to them. This is the ultimate flex in the music world, achieving mainstream success without sacrificing an ounce of your artistic integrity. Let's talk about the specific production choices that made this album a critical darling. In this pembahasan, we have to mention the intricate layering of traditional Korean instruments with futuristic synth-pop elements. This isn't just a trend, it's a statement of their heritage mixed with their global ambitions. Three Racha have proven themselves to be masters of the studio, showing an understanding of sound frequency and emotional resonance that usually takes decades to master. When you listen to the bridge of the 5th track, you aren't just hearing a song, you are hearing a meticulously crafted atmosphere. It's no wonder that music theory YouTubers and professional producers are dedicating hours of content just to react to the technicality of this album. It has become a textbook example of how to push the boundaries of pop music. Another crucial pembahasan is the impact on the younger generation of idols. Since the announcement of the Forbes ranking, many trainee accounts and rookie idols have cited Karma as their new blueprint. We are seeing a shift where being a self-produced group is no longer just an extra perk, but a gold standard that every new group strives for. Stray Kids have effectively democratized the production process, showing that if you have the vision and the talent, you don't need to wait for a song to be handed to you. This empowerment is a huge part of why the album is so acclaimed. It carries a message of agency and self-reliance that resonates with Gen Z and Alpha audiences worldwide. We also cannot overlook the fashion and visual storytelling that accompanied this era. In this pembahasan, we have to acknowledge that the Karma aesthetic has influenced global runways. The mix of tech wear with high fashion elements seen in their music videos has created a new visual language for K-pop. Hyunjin and Felix in particular have been praised for breaking gender norms in fashion, further cementing their status as global icons. Every teaser image and concept photo was curated to tell a story of rebirth and consequence, which aligns perfectly with the theme of the album. It's a total package. The sound, the look, and the message are all perfectly synchronized. Furthermore, we must discuss the incredible fan-driven data that supported this Forbes recognition. The Stay fandom didn't just buy albums, they organized global listening parties and created massive digital archives explaining the lore of the Stray Kids universe to new fans. This organic growth is what caught the eye of global analysts. Unlike many hits that are fueled by expensive marketing campaigns, Karma felt like a grassroots movement that became too big for the mainstream to ignore. The engagement rates on their content are through the roof, proving that the bond between Stray Kids and their fans is one of the strongest in the history of the industry. This loyalty is a major factor in why critics take them so seriously. They aren't just a temporary trend, they are a permanent fixture. As we look toward the future in this pembahasan, the industry is buzzing with rumors about what this means for the Grammys. With Forbes backing them so strongly, the conversation about a major category nomination is no longer a what if, but a when. The recognition of Karma as the most acclaimed male K-pop album of 2025 has put them in the direct line of sight for the Recording Academy. If they were to secure a nomination, it would be the ultimate validation of their journey from Stray Kids to global legends. The narrative of this album is so strong that it almost writes itself, a story of perseverance, talent, and the inevitable success that comes when you stay true to yourself. Finally, we have to touch upon the emotional impact this has on the members themselves. During their recent live streams, the members appeared more confident and centered than ever before. Bang Chan mentioned in a recent interview that this album felt like the first time they were able to truly breathe and express exactly what was on their minds without any filter. That sense of freedom is audible in every note of Karma. When an artist is free, the audience feels it, and the critics respect it. That is the secret sauce that made this album the phenomenon it is today. It's not just about the beats or the raps, it's about the soul of 8 individuals who dared to be different. Would you like me to create a list of the specific tracks mentioned, or perhaps draft a social media post to promote this video?